It's been a bit buggy recently, adding people. Weird, right?
Testing, testing.
It's working.
Is it? Is it working?
A
Everything's
question
broken.
for you.
Yeah,
Do you argue differently with women than you do with men on here? Or do you talk
probably.
to them differently? Right? Like, I have the inclination to hold back, like to pull punches, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm not, and you probably this probably resonate. I'm not big on like arguing anymore. I'm like, um, I'm kind of into like the douchey Socratic method these days. Just asking either gotcha questions or really dumb questions to try to frustrate my interlocutor these days. And I probably wouldn't do that so much with a woman. To your point.
Right? I noticed that. So I'm like, okay, so how do I approach that situation? And I'm like, I think what I'll do is ask permission.
So what does that look like in practice? You can say, "Hey, I'm noticing this is about to be an argument. Do you mind if I argue with you as if? Do you mind if I use my usual tactics that I reserve for men and try them out? Or is it like, are you just going to say, do you want to take this outside, or do you want to take this outside of the?
Permission to be myself.
That's a good one.
Permission to be myself? What? Yeah, I'd like to be myself. Uh, okay. All
Because it's
right.
like,
Yeah, it's a fucking stupid idea.
no, it's great because some people say permission to speak freely, and I'm not asking permission for that. I'm asking for permission. Can I live? I think is also how Jay-Z
Yeah,
said it.
Live. That's a good one.
yeah.
Because males and females, I feel, converse differently, and
Hmm.
guys don't have the same. Mm, let's see.
Well,
I don't know about the emotion in it. There's like something about the emotion in
But
it.
that's what I mean, right?
Yeah, and
Like, so
I don't
that's
know how
that.
to separate that, and I don't know if it's because of the corpus callosum, we can't help it.
Hmm. Well, I think it's also incumbent on people to uh, be aware. Like, I think you can be judicious in your choices. To Emmy's point of how you converse with people, and so I found myself um, holding back because I don't want to come off as a dick.
I think that's part of it. I mean, so you're married. You guys are married, but I think
Hmm.
sometimes there's a resistance to being oneself due to the possibility that you may be able to have sex with the person you're in an argument with.
Hmm.
Even remotely, even
Yeah.
remotely, you look at the
Yeah,
profile
yeah, yeah, yeah,
picture
yeah.
and you're like, well, I mean, I don't want to ruin my chances, so let me pretend to be someone else. Um, because for myself, there's no shot. So I'm just gonna be somebody else, and maybe there'll be some DMs, and maybe there'll be a conference or a meetup somewhere, same city, and it's like, oh, you've never or you never mansplained, you never did that, so hey, I'm looking pretty good option right now.
Yeah, but the same thing exists with like the folks on here because maybe you're a founder, maybe you're a developer, maybe you're in UX, maybe you're in sales, maybe you're in supply chain, and I might be able to find you useful in the future, kind of thing.
I think that's exactly right. I was talking about this. I've been in South by Southwest for the last like week or so, and I think it's definitely true. It's like either like it's like what can I get out of you? I think it's inevitable. Like except like right now, I don't like having a conversation with you. I mean, we've been talking for months, and like I don't think this is helping me at all. I think it's totally garbage, useless conversation, and so it's much more enjoyable because I'm not trying to figure out like what can I get out of you? In fact, like when I think of like our conversations, where it's more of like the dialectic nature, where I'm saying something, you're saying something, we're thinking about stuff, and maybe finding some common ground, stuff to ponder for the rest of the day, for the rest of the life, stuff like
Neither
that.
of us has tried to change the topic necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, be like, hey, I'm coming out with this new NFT project, and I'd like to tell you about it, but I understand that we have to have a requisite length of small talk and relationship building such that I can gain status so that you listen to.
Yeah, well, like because I was just sitting outside this morning, and I sent some work emails, and it's like I really just want to like join a syndicate thing because I just need to like just have a free flowing conversation that has a sense of humor, and there's no action items. I don't have to take notes, and I don't have to like.
Hold on. Did you not check the agenda before I started the space?
Yeah, I checked it and I refuted it internally,
How dare you?
and then I ate too much because I was upset. So I don't know where to go from there. I'm just tired and overate. So shit, where do I go from there?
I like it. All right, so we have a solution moving forward. Permission to be myself. But it's also like the judiciousness to say, you know what? Not today. I'm gonna turn this volume down and let things run.
Well, I like the what is it, the Sun Tzu thing, like let your enemy reveal himself. It's like, you just let people talk. And then
Hmm.
if you really want to make an opinion, if you really want to state an opinion, just state it to yourself and use it. Like I was at a party, like a little event here in Austin last night, and
Hmm.
I sort of like had my first like meet.
What is the what is the vibe at Austin given SVB?
I mean, I think it's so right now it's sort of transitioned into like the music version of it, and it's over tomorrow, so it's almost over. But
Hmm.
so it's transitioned the music part of it. I think like in the beginning as it started, there was a lot of tech people, a lot of business people, and I think it was just sort of hanging out there, like the current climate, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure like I
Oh, hold
only
on. We can do this like a news interview. Live on location in
yeah.
Austin. We have Emmy of VR Workout at South by Southwest. We're talking to him about the vibe of South by Southwest, given the recent dominoes that have been following in the financial sector. Emmy, what's the vibe?
Yeah. I'm here in Austin, Texas during South by Southwest, and certainly there is a vibe. As we all know, the bank run caused by the whatever happened with money that we all know, right? I don't have to go into it, but the vibe is very present here on the campgrounds here at Austin, South by Southwest. One thing I want to pay attention to is the current climate. I also want to talk about how things stand right now. Given the current situation. Um, I think what you find is that a lot of people are concerned. Um, there are some decisions that need to be made, possibly in hotel business centers outside of the events taking place here in Austin. And I have to say, as a correspondent, I'm very cut off from those conversations as someone with very little money and very little cultural capital. So, where I find myself, and I think our listeners will agree that I'm befuddled and upset. Um, and I also followed Jason Calacanis on Twitter, um, and I thought that was pretty dumb and funny. So I'll be here continuing to check out the scene, and I will certainly update you with any further information. Thanks, Mike.
Can can you tell by looking at someone's face if they had an account at Silicon Valley Bank?
Absolutely. This is what's currently being called as facial non-liquidity syndrome. And most of it, it's
Mhm.
all, at the end of the day, it's all about employees getting paid. This is about the working man, right? The working man goes to his computer every day, logs on, sends emails, schedules meetings, follows up. after those meetings to send some emails, and um, they work hard. And what it's really about is making sure that those working men are made whole at the end of the day so that they can buy their groceries, they can buy their subscriptions to, you know, websites. And that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. The notion that this is just a manufactured, um, scarcity driven economic reset conspiracy um, really discounts the fact that what it's all about at the end of the day is being able to afford rent and groceries. And we care about those people and we want them to be made whole.
Don't you think there's a problem though with the entire financial sector getting manscaped, so to speak?
Absolutely not. I think the real problem here is there's just simply too many, I guess, how do I say this lightly? Jews. I think it's been a problem for a long time. I think we all know about that, and I think the right steps are being taken to really try to minimize their presence in the financial sector. So it's something I'm certainly going to be watching closely and providing updates about.
Do you find that this yeastical approach to capital markets is gaining strength among the disenchanted Generation X?
Absolutely. I think what I call double reactionary trans capitalism is
Mm.
taking place. And I think what we're going to see is a lot of growth in the sectors of media, finance, entertainment, law, um, logistics, retail, e-commerce, um, also math and geography.
Now, do you think that people believe that they can participate in these industries, like retail, like commerce, like geography, without the Ashkenazi brethren checking the homework, so to speak? I mean, can we just remove them from the economy like South African farmers or, farmers from Zimbabwe? That didn't really end well for them. They were the only ones who knew how to use the farming implements. We don't want to starve to death, do we? Or are we willing to spite our face to right historical wrongs?
Well, Mike, I think that's the central question right now is how do we sort of take stock and try to do a bit of damage control and repair. And I think what you're going to see is a lot of growth in the sale of things like bananas, um, oranges, apples, grapefruits to a degree, and a major decrease in the production and sale of mangoes.
Yeah, I think the idea of the man go in 2023 is a bit passe. It should be more they go, just to make sure that, nobody gets triggered.
Well, the important thing to remember here is that when I say mango, I'm really talking about a post-Miltian sort of trigonomic, quasi-economic paradigm.
Milton as in Milton Friedman?
No, I'm talking about John Milton. Um,
Okay.
yes, he was a blind guy. I think he was some kind of moneylender, a Jew. Um, and when I talk about post-Miltonian refinance structuralism, these are really the things you want to pay attention to. One is mechanics, the other is landscapers. And what I think you're really going to see a lot of growth in also is traffic cops. And these are kind of when you talk about the vibes, right? At South by Southwest, there is a lot of scarcity when it comes to parking. Of course, you have the garage, and really that is a, a fine example of price control. And then you have the limited street parking. And of course, you are subject to fines and regulations that practice includes.
Isn't it dangerous, though, to have traffic cops essentially determine the vibe on the street? Shouldn't that be left to the common?
Well, that's certainly the perspective of a lot of the decentralized traffic vibular sectors. And I think what we're starting to see is a lot of public service announcements, mostly on out of home media. These are your billboards, digital signage, and windows. And the message that they're really trying to put forward is that everybody should really move to Telegram, even for internal direct messaging. People, the sentiment around things like Slack is really, really a lot of the conversation is about the sound that they use for notifications. A lot of folks are referencing things like maracas or shaker sticks, and these are less appreciated percussion instruments right now. Whereas Telegram does not have as strong of a tradition. They're not as locked into a lot of the notification sounds that people usually associate with direct communication in a workplace. So most of the decentralized vibular control is really centered around evangelizing Telegram right now.
It's interesting because Twitter helps you talk to chicks. Discord is where nerds fight. But Telegram isn't used to talk to grandparents.
Well, that's what a lot of the central confusion was about because many grandparents really exclaimed that they've been receiving telegrams. I think one quote I heard was before they were cool. Um, and there was a real convergence point there because what a lot of our analysts realize is that the word telegram is actually used in two different ways. Now, one of those ways is through what you would typically find at a place like Western Union, which, as you know, is very popular for wiring money to other people. The other is an app, which is used for direct communication and group communication, and also for sharing pirated media. And there's actually a third, and I thank you for putting on the ticker there, which is to tell a gram. Gram being a shorthand for grandma. Um, so we're seeing a real turning point here where instead of telling a gram via a telegram, we're actually telling a gram about telegram so that we don't have to send any more telegrams. Um, so this is sort of the post-reductionist telegramma uh, uh, foreclosure predominance that we're starting to see and starting to talk about.
Is there a feel that just like we have some banks that are too large to fail, now that we have consolidation in the financial sector, how do folks feel about the consolidation in the large language model sector?
Great question, Mike. Great question. I think the key difference here between the so-called too large to fail and the large language model is that Michael Bloomberg, also a Jew, did a lot of groundwork for criminalizing any large or extra large beverages. And what these companies are really going to run into is a very strong protestation and possibly legislation continuing to attempt to prohibit any large or extra large language models. And of course, this will likely be a reactionary point for the so-called effective accelerationists who believe that that large, extra large, and perhaps even a double XL language models uh, can, should, and must be built and propagated to the people.
So it's interesting. This Telegram new mobile app for South by Southwest patrons who've never been to Austin and don't know where to obtain a gram to keep them awake for the whole weekend. Um, it's causing a lot of concern, not amongst the
Do you
owners
mean
because they know
like
parties.
a drug, Graham?
Telegram, yes, because you have to check the purity of the diamonds. And so it's hard to tell for someone who's maybe doesn't have a more advanced eye. So if you take a picture of the chemistry, then they can tell you the purity using the AI.
Wait, are y'all talking about drugs?
No, we're
So
talking about Dr. Grandmas.
I think I can clear up some of the confusion here. There has been a lot of conversation on the ground here in Austin. What it's looking like is that one of the influencers here, key influencer, actually had a typo in one of their posts, which we were seeing massive engagement on, where they referred to Telegram when they actually meant to say sell-a-gram. Um, they said, "Does anybody know anybody who is able to Telegram?" And what we saw was a lot of engagement in the comments section. It was retweeted about 2 times. And it came to, I was down on the ground here in some music events, mostly in basements and abandoned warehouses, and many people were repeating to each other, do you know anybody who can Telegram? And what that led to was a mass installation of the app Telegram. And so you had a large part of the population attempting to seek someone who could sell a gram via Telegram. And because of the degree of boredom that attendees were experiencing during the panel sessions, um, those Telegram conversations quickly scaled to sell an 8 ball, sell an ounce conversations. So this
No, you are talking about drugs now. I know this now.
this continued to accelerate to the point where we are now not only talking about sell an ounce, but we're now hearing reports of a new app that launched during a hackathon here called Teleannounce. And this is for announcing communications that you would typically tell. So we're seeing a lot of volatility in the tell to announce market. And the effects of this, we're just going to have to watch.
So is it possible that the OpenAI ChatGPT 4 token is the new Fortune 1000 gram? Like that's the new drug of choice?
Well, it's really what our analysts in the community at large are trying to figure out is how does OpenAI, as a champion of Olympic fencing and boxing, how do they leverage that power to lower the price of not just psychoactive drugs, but also uh, um, also I'm sorry, I'm actually getting a report here. It's breaking news is that
The Syndicate South by Southwest special featuring Emmy, sponsored by Telegram. That's right, Telegram. Not sure what you got, not sure if it's worth what they're charging. That's when you call Telegram. Go ahead, Emmy. Breaking news.
yeah, hi Mike, thanks. Emmy here with Telegram. I'm receiving reports that there is a very large bug on the ground here in Austin. I'm on the ground here, and there's a very large bug. And early reports are saying that it is a beetle. But we're having conflicting reports coming in that it's also a wasp, which is very distressing because wasps are typically airborne. Um, so we're currently hearing a lot of different conversations. It looks like we're going to see a massive increase in the price of chocolate covered beetles, as well as the sort of holistic wasp oil. And this is just something that we're going to have to watch.
In this post-pandemic era, are people at South by Southwest wearing masks in quotation marks? Do you think they wear a mask these days? Have they taken off the mask? Is it still there?
Well, as this reporter has said, I think we all wear a mask to some degree. Now, whether that translates into actual mask, and I mean with SQUE, really is yet to be determined. I think the key element here is the degree to which masks are being worn in mosques. There was some growing sentiment here on the ground in Austin that Musk is actually selling masks out of mosques. This is what is colloquially being referred to as the mosque mask paradigm. And again, the effects of this reality are just something that we're going to have to watch.
Hi, Marco.
Hi, Elizabeth. I just put my hand up because I just had a news alert. Come up on my phone. This is very relevant. I wouldn't normally have come up to Emmy's breaking news about the beetle. The news alert is telling me that it is a particular strain known as Volkswagen.
Marco, thanks for that update. I'm hearing similar reports on the ground here in Austin.
You're listening to the Syndicate South by Southwest special featuring
Is that
Emmy
still
and...
on?
No, we're done now. Thanks, everyone.
No, I mean, like, is South by Southwest still going?
Yeah, good question. I mean, Emmy, you're still there.
Yes, this reporter is still on the ground here in Austin. And what I can tell you is that while South by Southwest, the festival, is coming to a close, it turns out that South by Southwest, as a cardinal principle, is actually persistent and sustained as far as this reporter knows. There are no current conversations of ending South by Southwest. There is some growing sentiment on discontinuing North by Northeast, which is, of course, very distressing to us here on the ground in New Jersey because we depend on North by Northeast.
Wait, are you on the ground in New Jersey or Austin? This listener needs to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're even more concerned about is some of the stuff we're seeing a lot of growing sentiment about instating new cardinal compounds. This is the East by West East. Many physicists are trying to vocalize their support of squashing these conversations simply because the notion of a new East by West East would disrupt a lot of the calculations on which they've built their entire framework.
But isn't East by West East simply South by Southwest if it turns around?
This is the central problem is according to a lot of the leading physicists, the directional input is really dependent on the locational output. So, for example, my South by Southwest could be your East by West East. And really, it's these kind of questions, these kind of conversations that are throwing into complete turmoil the notion of cardinality.
I was going to say the cardinal rules apply. If cardinal rules apply, it's always the same. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
like, but if we're not using cardinal rules, if we're just going willy nilly,
Ordinal rules, yeah.
yeah, exactly, using ordinal rule.
So, are you saying that the opinions expressed at a South by Southwest will be an inversion of that which happens in East by West East, but they represent two sides of the same coin?
Subject to the cardinal rules of 2023, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the conversation happening right now, and I think we're really going to have to just watch and see what the effects are. There is even more growing sentiment here on the ground in Austin of a new, actually philosophical school, which is called Willie by Willy Nilly. And it turns out
I hear
that,
Willie Nelson sponsoring that.
right, well, this is the growing sentiment here on the ground in Austin. And as it turns out, Willie Nelson is a major proponent of Willie by Willy Nilly. And what is.
Didn't Nelly sign on for that as well? So it'd be Willie by Willy Nelly?
Now, Nelly represents more of the actually South by Southeast, being a citizen of North Carolina. And what they are really trying to
Nelly's
do
from the
is.
Lou. Whoa. I mean, Nelly's from the Lou.
I'm sorry, I'm getting reports that it was actually P.D. Pablo who is being much more vocal on the North Carolina side. And it turns out they are actually growing a lot in their aviation industry. Many folks on the ground in North Carolina are reporting signs of citizens en masse taking their shirt offs and swishing it around their heads like helicopters. And what this does to the South by Southeast quotient with regards to East by West East is really calling into question the cardinality of transference law. And again, this is something that we're going to have to watch because the effects of this are really just unknown at the moment.
You're listening to the Syndicate South by Southwest special, starring Emmy, sponsored by Telegram. Telegram. Are you in Austin and not sure how to tell a real gram from a fake gram and it's 4 a.m. and the party's just getting started? How do you differentiate a private key and the clarity such that you can bag them off into public keys? That's right, the Syndicate South by Southwest special, starring Emmy, sponsored by Telegram Keys. Dan on the ground, what are you saying?
I think it sounds great. I've been checking out some of the other rooms with the big noise this weekend. Looks like Trump's going to be indicted on Tuesday and be taken into cuffs. As you know, this is a warning sign and dismissal of all that we are as Americans. Thank God he's going to go and get arrested.
Who's Trump?
What?
Who's Trump?
Donald
Who
Trump.
is Trump? Who's this Trump character?
The
I
Donald
don't know
Trump
who
guy.
he is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know who
the
he
orange
is.
one. Oh,
Is this
No, sorry.
But anyways, calamity is afoot. It's interesting how every weekend we have a calamity. We're kind of getting used to it now. We have a triggered state of reality every 7 days or something. But yeah, I agree. I agree what Emmy's talking about. I think it's a huge deal.
Dan, thanks, and always good to hear from you. I think a lot of the reports here in Austin are seeing a confluence between what is called calamity and largely referred to in the seafood industry as clam amity. This is the notion of developing strategic partnerships with the clam population in order to render better oyster. Yeah. This is what you would call a double reverse distrade trust.
It's interesting you mentioned bivalves because I know Mocha Goddess knows about those as well. But here's for the clams. She didn't get that joke, but that was for her. All right, I guess I killed the room. My bad.
What's up, mashed potato? How you doing? What are we eating today?
I walked to a restaurant and I ate a couple bites of a burger.
Nice. I just had some tacos and enchilada. It was pretty yummy. I had some chips, salsa.
I'm scared to eat too much at this point. So
I'm with you on that. You shouldn't trust your stomach just yet.
I see you emoting, Allie. I mentioned bivalves. Where were you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did not unpress the mic.
The little
Sorry,
thing.
I'm caught up watching some programs in the background. How you doing?
Good. Bivalves, clams.
What
I
about?
was saying science to you. I'm just saying science to you.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are we talking about? What about bivalves? I love me a bivalve.
It's like 5 minutes too late.
That's okay. It's good to hear you, and good to hear that you're eating
Did
food.
somebody say baby bells? Did someone say baby bells? I love baby bells.
Bivalves,
Is
Marco.
Is that a
Bivalves.
thing? Is that baby bells? Yeah. Is that
Like
a
the
thing in America?
cheese?
Baby bells? Yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh, baby bell
In the
cheese.
in the red. Oh, I don't even know what that thing is that wraps them. I don't even know what you would call that. I want to
It's
say plastic, but it's not plastic, is
it's
it?
not plastic.
Wax.
It's wax. Yeah.
Yeah, wax. There you go. Oh my God, maybe Americans are educated if you get baby bells over there.
That's the litmus test.
It's a low bar, Elizabeth. It's a very low bar.
Okay, I have to go. I think I ate too much. But it's good to see everybody.
It's been a minute, as you people like to say.
Johnny, oh my God, what are you doing here? Okay, how do I make you a speaker? Because I want to hear from you. Oh my God. Okay, so people, I taught this lovely human back when I lived in Costa Rica. He was one of my students. Okay, how do I make this? You got to come up.
That's you need to hit Soyuz controls there. He controls the room.
Yeah, you just need to invite him up.
He's a systems engineer.
And one of the most lovely humans I've ever met. Johnny, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, Miss Danyak.
Do you
Who
recognize?
is that in the background?
Do you
Hi.
recognize her?
Is that Ainoa?
Yes.
Ah! Oh my God! Oh, I'm getting emotional.
How
It's
are
so
you?
good to hear you.
And-
I'm so. Oh, how long has it been?
Too long.
Too long, yeah.
Holy crap! Yeah, I was there in 2008. It's been like, holy crap, that's a long time.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to? Oh, it's so nice to know you guys are you guys are together still. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Married for 5 years. Now living in Madrid.
Oh, you're in Madrid now. Beautiful. So what are you guys doing out there?
Well, looking for better professional I guess professional opportunities over here than in Costa Rica. So yeah, we're happy to be here.
I'm such a fan of Madrid. That's lovely.
How
Oh,
about you?
Still doing the teaching. Well, kind of doing the teaching thing. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. I think I'm done with teaching. So, yeah, working it out here, doing education online instead. I think I'm done being inside the classroom. All the politics and everything. I've kind of had my fill. So, my guy Mike Soyu, the host there, I guess husband and I, we've been trying to figure out other work.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
He's a mastermind. Together, they are quite the power couple. So,
Are you not done with Michael yet?
No, no, he's my forever. He's my forever. We're together.
Really? Really?
He's crazy, but he is my perfect half.
My wife would probably say exactly the same as I'm saying. Yeah, how she's put up with me for 23 years, God only knows.
likewise over here.
Yeah, I could not put up with myself for 2 months, let alone 23 years.
I'm going to a play tonight. Now, this is a big deal on the whole relationship thing. And I go and physically go to a play.
Ooh, what play?
My niece is playing in Matilda. So, gonna go.
That's a great play. Oh my God, Matilda's a great one. You're gonna have fun.
I know. I'm looking forward. I figure, I can do this. I can do this. I can stay still for 90 minutes or something. I can do that.
Hey, Dan, look at you getting all cultured.
I know, man. It's weird, Mark.
Next, you'll
It's
be going to
weird.
the opera. Next, you'll be going to the opera.
I know. I'm only going to opera if I get a blowjob. You know how that works. It's like you gotta get. Oh, that's a South Park thing. Sorry.
Yeah, that is a South Park thing.
Johnny, what kind of teacher was Allie?
Yeah, give us the dirt. Give us the dirt.
She was a very fun one. It was one of our favorite classes because it was always very fun to go, and she was very down to earth, not as much as the other teachers. So it was very nice to go and talk to her about other problems not related to school.
Johnny, what did she? What subject or subjects did she attempt to teach you?
Physics, I think. Physics?
Was it physics? I don't remember.
Chemistry? What did you?
There you go. There was
I
my
taught
point
Johnny physics, and
exactly.
I know a biology.
Oh, okay.
There was my point exactly. Attempted to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah, I don't know why they put me in charge of physics.
So were you teaching in Costa Rica then, at the time?
I was teaching there for 2 years.
Wow! Oh wow! That's so cool. I love Costa Rica.
Oh, it's a wonderful place. I can't wait to go back. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I've been
people,
there
the
on
food, best
Yeah.
people in the world.
Of course, as Johnny will know, there is. Oh no, I was going to say Costa Rica. I was getting mixed up there of countries. I was thinking Puerto Rico.
It happened.
So yeah. I was thinking Puerto Rico, and I was about to say, as Johnny will know, there is a Puerto Rico not too far from where he is in Spain, which people always get confused about. So Johnny, how long have you been in Spain?
About 4 or 5 years.
Have you travelled while you've been in Europe?
Yeah, a little.
With-
We've been we have gone back to Costa Rica a couple times to see the family, and because of COVID, we weren't able to travel as much as we would have liked. But in the last year or two, we started to try and travel again and get to know some European countries that we weren't able to before.
Where have you been in Europe so far?
What? Where?
Where have you
Oh,
where have you traveled to in Europe?
we've been in France, Italy, and Portugal. Oh, and
Nice.
Amsterdam. Yeah. Also, yeah, and the
Oh,
Netherlands.
of course you've done Amsterdam. Of course you have. Yeah. Did you have some nice cakes in Amsterdam?
No, no, we didn't. We went there because we have a family member that started studying there in the Netherlands, so we went to see the place and get to know the university.
And what did you think of France? Or no, let me rephrase that. What did you think of French people?
Um, they were fine. I mean, I know there's like some sort of conspiracy theory that they are not very nice, but to us they were just fine.
Maybe it's they just don't like Brits. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased, Johnny.
Maybe. Although Spanish people, they also say that they don't like Spanish
We
people.
didn't go to Paris.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah, that's true. We went to
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux, yeah, which is close to the Spanish border.
Bordeaux, yeah.
You went to sorry, was that Bordeaux? You went to
Yeah, yeah.
Bordeaux? Yeah. Oh. I go to Bordeaux regularly to buy lots of wine.
That's the place to be, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, you're a systems engineer now.
Yes.
That's incredible. So, did any of Ali's teachings still stick in your mind?
Well, I didn't even remember what she taught me, so
That's the best
Yeah,
kind of learning.
Michael, that was the dumbest question you've ever asked in your life. Because he'd already said he didn't
Hey,
know
Ali,
what
did you hear
sentence.
that? He doesn't remember any of it.
I know, it's wonderful. I think it's so funny.
It's not what you do for them, it's how you make them feel. Allison Tanya.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as I've
Yeah.
made you feel at home in class, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Well, it's very clear. It's obviously very clear because Johnny, you are obviously a very nice, polite, respectable young man, and I would go so far to suggest that whilst Ali didn't teach you anything from an educational perspective, you probably wouldn't be the man you are today without Ali's influence. So teaching comes in many forms.
Yeah, I agree.
What type of systems engineering do you do? Sorry.
I'm currently I've worked for a couple of years as a database analyst, and now I'm moving more towards the visual part with Power BI. So making some
Oh, really?
reports and yeah.
Question for you. Have you used ChatGPT or OpenAI to connect to Power BI and have it analyze data?
Not to connect to Power BI, but I tried it a couple of times to ask it for some measure, like to give me some measure on the Power BI code language that we use, and it actually was very helpful. So it reduced my number of Google searches that I had to do. So
So here's the reason I ask you, Johnny. There's someone else in our network. His name is Ruckus, and he's on the analytics side of marketing. And I've been talking to him about, if you have a data set which is accessible through Power BI and you're using Microsoft Azure, how might you connect your databases directly over Azure to OpenAI to get insights?
I actually don't know if you can connect. I mean, I know Microsoft is investing a lot of money in OpenAI, and they have been working with the new ChatGPT 4. But I haven't looked into it that much to give you a good answer.
No worries, Marco.
Yeah, Michael, I thank you because you've just triggered a thought that I hadn't even realized. Whilst I may thank you, some of my team may not. Because the fact that you mentioned power, I don't know how I missed this, and I'm being serious. Well, I'm being half serious. I don't know how I missed this because Power BI, obviously with the Microsoft rollout to its Office applications of GPT-4, as they've intimated, it's just suddenly struck me I can get rid of my CFO and my accountants because I can just get GPT-4 on Power BI to do all my financial matters. So that's going to save me a ton of money. So I thank you. I will pass on to them that it was you that gave me the idea. So maybe they'll want to reach out to you after
Well,
they've received the letters.
well, they're gonna probably need a recruiter, so might as well start the process now.
Oh, good thing. Yeah, brilliant. I knew this was a
As if they
virtuous
needed,
circle.
as if they needed another reason to hate recruiters.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, here is your letter of notice. But I know a good recruiter, and here are his details. Feel free to reach out to him.
This letter of notice written by ChatGPT. That's right, ChatGPT.
So that's funny. Although, in all seriousness, though, I would never use
Mhm.
AI to get rid of a CFO.
But that's my dream though. Like from a technology perspective, is you have a data set. You are a Microsoft user. I read an article that said that Microsoft ostensibly owns the developer experience when you think about GitHub, OpenAI, Visual Studio Code, all that kind of stuff, even Copilot. Imagine you own the two largest models for developing code, Copilot and OpenAI. But my dream is you have Raucus and all these folks that are using Power BI. Power BI is a Microsoft product. Visual Studio is a Microsoft product. Autopilot is a Microsoft product. And OpenAI is available over Azure, which is Microsoft's compute network and storage platform counterpart to AWS. So in my mind, although like a stupid recruiter who doesn't understand the technicalities, if you have an entire Microsoft stack available through Azure as the connecting and processing, why can't you point OpenAI at a database over Azure through Power BI, and instead of asking it questions, just say, hey, what'd you notice? Because if it has the ability to deal with unstructured data, then we're past the era of making queries. We just have to wake up to the insights. Are we that far? Can't we do that today? What's stopping us from doing that today?
Well, I'm not necessarily sure anything is, but here is my challenge, though. And it's interesting you picked on devs because I've thought this about devs. Dan could probably talk to this better than I can. But what I am aware of many years' experience, there are good devs and there are great devs. Like CFOs, there are good CFOs and great CFOs. The key difference between a good and a great one is, and this for me is like, I would say chat, GPT, whatever, with Power BI, whatever, would only ever be a good dev or a good CFO. Because a great skills person has the ability to, whatever I tell them or whatever I think should be built, is that they go away and they come back to me and say, actually, what about if you built this? Or what about if you did this instead? Or what about if we built this on top? And if we built this on top, this would take an extra 2 weeks or number of hours. So rather than just being prescriptive and saying, go build me this app, that's all well and good, but that's me saying, build this app based on my best knowledge.
Hmm.
But actually, I'm not a dev. And it's the same applies to finance, you know. If all I wanted was a spreadsheet giving me a moment in time, but the moment in time is typically the past, then okay, AI can do that. But actually, that's not what I want. What I want is I want that, but I also want input stroke analysis from my CFO who's going to tell me, right, I'm thinking this is happening in the market, or I'm seeing signs of that, or what about if we put our money here, or we moved it to this country because of this tax efficiency, or this corporate tax, or whatever. I'm not sure AI, based on its limited data set, because it is still going to be very limited, has the ability to do that kind of reasoning, to your point. Hope that all made sense.
Hmm. The reason I mention all of this is because I'm not sure if you heard me talk about it, but I had some interaction with folks that built an AI model based on the dolphin biosonar signal intelligence system with DARPA in the 80s off the coast of Hawaii. And they used to drop objects in the water and count the clicks the dolphins would make to perceive the object. And they applied that model to human pools of unstructured data, and it started generating insights. And so, because I know these things are out there, I'm like, look, I'm pretty sure we're moving to an era where there's enough parameters that it can handle unstructured data. And I just want to be able to test this theory out of how might we connect OpenAI to your database and ask it, what'd you notice? Or to historical data. Have you heard of Lang chain?
Yes, yeah, we did. Yeah, I was in the room with
Uh-huh.
you the other day. Yeah, I was in the room with you the other day.
So I'm going to
Showcase.
tell you.
But also, maybe you've tried this and I haven't. Can you ask it to identify forthcoming trends, or is that something that it can't do at the
Well,
moment? Because
see,
I guess,
mhm.
you know, there's one thing linking it to a database or to data and saying, what do you notice? And I suppose you could ask it a particular question. Are there any trends you're identifying? But again, for me, that's okay, depending on how far back you're identifying those trends. Because if you're identifying trends which were 6 or 12 months old, is that really going to influence your decision making process going forward? Probably not. So you probably want trends from the last month, 2 months, maybe 3. And then you want to be asking it, so what do you see the forthcoming trends could potentially be?
Mhm.
But I'm assuming GPT can't do that currently.
Well, I think of it in terms of the way that it plays chess, which you give it the whole history of all of the chess games, right? And ask it to, you know, play a new game. So I'm gonna post this thing right now. It's me fooling around with LangChain, and because it's all available through Python, I can use a Google Colab notebook. And since I can use a Google Colab notebook, I don't need to download any software onto my machine to run all this stuff. And the amount of lines of code you need is collapsing like magnitudinally. You used to have to be able to know how to work with all of these models. You don't have to learn how to work with the model all that much to get started. And I find just by getting started, I can work with someone like Manish, who I can say, hey, Manish, this is what I want to create. This is as far as I've been able to get. I've actually created the first prototype of what I want myself. Can you take it the rest of the way? And so far, the answer has been yes. All right, so I put the thing at the top, and you can hear me singing R&B songs in an Indian accent, among other things. Yeah, but it seems that to me that there's no reason that we can't connect all of Microsoft's toolkit to analyze structured and unstructured data. And I've seen from the Dolphin that it's better that you don't artificially constrain the response based on your limited ability to ask questions based on your perspective. You know, are you south by southwest, west, or east by southeast? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm hoping I can use this Lang chain.
Super quiet. I go wander the halls. I'll be back.
Oh, Rich, were you here for any of Johnny?
No, I missed it.
Oh, whoops.
Was Johnny, wait,
He's a
Emmy or
student I
Johnny?
taught in 2008. He came in to say hello.
I think I saw the PFP but I left. Like I remember seeing it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up just to feel irrelevant. I don't know. So that's cool. Did he come in and be like, "Hey, you were my teacher"?
Yeah, and that he's married to his high school girlfriend.
That's so cute.
It was really cute. I remember having like talks with them about the relationship and like just heart to hearts and stuff. And to see them like literally 20 years later married, it's fucking wild.
Yeah, that is a long time to be together. Thank you for reminding me that I graduated from college 20 years ago. That's a long time to be alive. Also, Allie, how are you doing?
Well, I've been practicing coming on Twitter Spaces to work on my anxieties. So now I'm on as myself. I'm using all of you as my therapy.
Yeah, I recommend that in conjunction with, standard therapy. But like, I was gonna say, I like it that it's you and not just through the horned horse.
Thank you. And I am doing standard therapy. This is actually part of my exposure therapy to be out there and talking as myself and being okay with that. I'm low key actually shaking right now.
Oh my gosh, so you're one of my favorite people. You can't shake. You and Anna Mariah too. Like she's here, I see her. I see you, Anna Mariah. But like hearing you guys talk in spaces like helps me learn how to find my own voice. So thank you for talking more.
It's my pleasure.
I so they gave me this medicine. Like I think I flew too close to the sun today. I walked to get a burger, and then I walked back and I ate some of the burger, and now I'm feeling nauseous again. So I took one of the things they gave me for my like whatever the hell this bug I had was, and it's gonna make me drowsy here in a second. So I'm not gonna be able to stay on too long. But one thing that's kind of nice about having a stomach bug is that I lost weight, like significant weight in a week. Which is like weird because I haven't wanted to go on a walk in a while. So I don't know if it like I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it's nice to like want to go for a walk on a Saturday, We're talking like 15 to 20 pounds.
Girl.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
couldn't eat anything until yesterday. And during the in between times, I was purging from all orifices. Like it was not good. And I can't believe I just said that.
Irises are brutal. No, no, no. I hear that. When I first moved to Costa Rica, like I got a parasite, and yeah, uh, I could not keep anything down for a month. It was crazy. So I feel you, and it's the worst.
Yeah, it was. I like. I don't know how to describe it, but I felt like my apartment was like a war zone, like because I was just like bleh. Anyway, I'll stop describing it. But like, um, but it was good. I mean, it kind of feels like a reset, which is nice.
It's so weird. My friend and I were actually just exchanging our funniest puke stories.
So at the point where I decided I was going to go to the hospital, like I had been trying to sip water. Like I got so dehydrated that I was delirious. But like I was trying to sip. What was I trying to sip? Oh, I was trying to sip ginger ale, and I was like, okay, it's got ginger in it. It's magical. Everyone says you take ginger. This is perfect. It's wonderful. It's ginger. And when I couldn't even keep that down for like 15 minutes, I was like, this is it. I'm going because I was shaking. I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I need to go to the hospital. Like, and so he took me, and yeah, they gave me good things. So, hi, Marco.
Yeah, but these battle stories these battles that you go through just turn into the best stories later.
Yeah, they're still fresh for me. So I'm
Hello, Elizabeth.
like, I have abs from puking so much.
I had to bump because I wanted to spend 10 minutes and watch Michael's video. The outcome of watching that video is I am never going to get that 10 minutes back. And Michael, you singing in an Indian voice stroke accent, that needs some serious work, my friend.
Does it?
That was terrible.
That's my life. That's what he does in the background.
You know they're married, right, Marco?
Yes, I do. I do know.
My favorite is how, what was it, your aunt or something that said this was his ex-wife?
Oh, when I met his aunt, she was like, "Hey, here's his ex-wife. Isn't she beautiful?" I'm like, "How do I respond to this?"
I thought it was so funny.
Isn't it? So I was telling you, the worst situations turn into the best stories.
Hey Marco, what did you think of that SVB thing? Excuse me, that was terribly rude.
That was fun with Emmy. South by Southwest.
I wonder how he does that stream of consciousness. Like, do you think he practices?
He's Ashkenazi.
What does that mean?
That's probably where he's from. He's an Ashkenazi Jew. You know what I mean by that? No? You've
No.
never looked at the superior IQ of Ashkenazi Jews compared.
No, I know that they have that, but what do you mean that helps them do stream of consciousness talking?
How wouldn't it? It's their IQ, right?
Just
Oh,
because you're
okay.
smarter doesn't mean you're more creative.
Yeah, but he's in South by Southwest, the home of creatives.
I thought he was in New Jersey.
I thought he was in New Jersey. What are you saying about New Jersey and
He
creativity?
literally said, I'm on the ground in New Jersey. And
No,
I
he's in
said,
Austin.
but he said it, not me. Maybe I made that up. No, he said it because I called him out for being wrong about where he was on the ground. Never mind, it's not important. What is important is that I ate half of a burger today and it all stayed down.
Why has your food not been staying down lately?
Oh, Marco, I had a really bad virus. It's where I've been out for a bit, if you will, because I was really, really sick and ended up in the hospital.
Oh my days! I was unaware. If I'd known, I would have sent you a pallet of soup.
I would still take a salad of soup if you've got it. But
Any
yeah, no.
any particular flavor?
Yeah, broccoli cream of broccoli.
Oh, good choice.
Great choice. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm celebrating little wins. Like yesterday, I was able to keep down mashed potatoes, and today I walked to a restaurant, and I was glad for like the exercise, but also like once I got there, I got a burger to go, and I brought it. I walked home, and now I'm just hoping it stays down.
Would that be a McDonald's burger?
No. It was from a local joint that makes amazing burgers. I may have like flown too close to the sun though, so I've taken something that they gave me at the hospital that also causes drowsiness, so I may start to say weird things soon.
Is that more weird than usual?
Yes.
Excellent. At least we're prepared.
Shall I say enjoy?
I hope you start telling embarrassing stories.
I've already started telling embarrassing stories. Like, oh gosh.
Like what? Like what? What have I missed?
I guess I didn't tell any actually embarrassing stories. Well, we're helping Allie with her confidence. Can you believe it? She is one of the most amazing people I've met on Twitter Spaces, if not in my life. And she's got trouble with this. So, Allie, tell us how it all started.
How what all started?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to ask a question to get the attention off of me.
Well, I'm on here right now as myself to work through my own anxiety and my confidence issues. So, this is part of my therapeutic exposure therapy that I'm attending right now. And yeah, I'm currently shaking as I'm speaking right now, but trying to hold it together and exposing myself as myself.
Exposing yourself.
Hello.
Hello. Mike's doing a really good job of not interrupting you.
Oh, he's not
Yeah,
even
that's
paying attention. I think he's watching something on TikTok.
yeah. Of course he is.
Is he
My,
always on
my
TikTok?
Yeah, his mind's always somewhere else. I wonder what it's like inside there. It must be a circus because he's always pinging back and forth on thinking about a million different things all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like it in there.
Makes it fun to interact with, though. My life is rich.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Ali, as this current affliction you have, is this something you've always lived with, or is it something new?
No, I've always lived with pretty high anxiety and depression and pretty high social anxiety, which is funny because I'm a teacher. I
Yeah, that
actually
doesn't make
spent
sense.
it's part of my own exposure. I learned from a really young age that if you just jump right in, the anxiety gets better. So I spent my first month of teaching throwing up every single day because I was so nervous, but it gets better.
So I throw up every day this week. Speaking of throwing up. But do you know Doll? Have you met Doll yet, Allie?
I don't think so.
I really think you should meet Doll. I think you guys would get along.
Ooh, tell me more.
She does AI stuff. That's not important. The important part about her is that she is an amazing spirit, and I think you guys would get along.
Well, I'll have to look her up. That looks nice. Oh, you're probably following her, right? I'll look her up.
Yeah, she does the most
I just
fantastic. She does the most fantastic AI generative art.
Yeah, she does that too. But I just sent her a message to get her in here because I think you gotta kind of have to meet her to get it. But she's just really cool. I just DM'd you her at.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm gonna watch I'm gonna watch Big Brother All Stars and pass out, and I'll be back after I wake up. But if Doll comes in, tell her hi and tell her I'm sorry I wasn't here.
Will do. Feel better.
Thank you.
Great episode.